In order, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, good morning. Before we get started, we can't do this all the time for employees, but we had a employee recognition the other day, I think it was the 11th, in which people received Years of Service awards, and our administrator, Cindy, was not able to be there. Cindy, we won't make you take a picture with the board, but we wanted to recognize
Thank you
your
very much.
35 years of service to the county. And Doug, if you'd present that to her, it'd be great.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yep. I was sick that night, just so you know. I didn't intend to miss it intentionally.
All right, consideration of agenda items. During the consent agenda, I'd like to pull item E and item I, and I'm told we'll put those under county administration. With that, is there any other additions or corrections to the agenda?
Move
Miss-
to approve.
Mr. Chair, I have nothing to add.
I move to approve with the corrections.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Pohlmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda minus items E and I.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Wright.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Pohlmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Before we move on any further, I just wanted to acknowledge that Commissioner Szymanski is gone today because of a funeral in his family, correct?
Yes, yes.
So we wish him the best. All right, payment of the bills.
Mr. Chairman, I move payment of the bills.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The Assessor's Office. Good morning, Sue.
I'm here for the annual contract signing. We did get, there's a list of Acoma, Bergen, Glencoe Township, Hale, Helen, Winsted, Biskie, Broughton, Glencoe City, Hutch City, Lester Prairie, Plato, and Winsted City. Hassan Valley did not sign their contract. They have decided to go with the local assessor. So the county board, I'm requesting the county board to sign off on the contracts, and then I will be sending a copy back to the local taxing districts with your signatures on it.
Are there any questions?
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Wright,
Second.
second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sheriff's Office. Good morning, Tim.
Here for our annual squad ordering. If you remember back in September, we had gotten permission to order 3. We were notified last Monday that those were not built and will not be delivered to us. So I'm back asking for permission to order 5 2019 Dodge Durangos via state bid for $32,338 each, and a total of $161,690. 4 of those squads will be paid for out of the sheriff's budget. 1, in working with Cindy, will come out of capital notes, and that is to replace one that was totaled in a crash.
Is that typically what we would do with something that was totaled out?
Well, what happened is we got $16,000 from the insurance company
Okay.
for the crash or for the accident, and because they totaled out the vehicle. So that $16,000 went into the reserves
Okay.
at the end of
So
the
it
year.
didn't go back to the Sheriff's
Right.
Office budget?
Right.
Okay.
So if we use capital equipment notes, because it is truly an expense that we can use from the capital equipment notes for public safety, road, highway department, so I suggested that we do that.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Refresh my memory, Cindy. I think I actually brought that up at the time, if I remember, and then you said we'd wait till this cycle came up. I believe that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Pohlmeyer. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Vince.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have one item for you to consider this morning. The approval to purchase new RSA key fobs for our two-factor authentication. They expire at the end of February and March. And I've got a quote from SHI International, quote number 16490,315 for a cost of $10,666. And that funding will be coming from the IT budget. We'll be replacing 220 devices, good for another 4 years. They are used throughout the county departments, as well as local police departments and county vendors.
All right, any questions?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Vince, this is just to update key fobs that are basically running out of service, then, correct?
Yeah, if you look at the back of your key fob, there's an expiration date on them. Some of them expire at the end of February, so that we're starting that now. Some of them last till March, but trying to get those all swapped out within a time period does take a little bit of time.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions for Vince? If not, I'll move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, moving on to county administration, review of the calendars. Rich?
Okay. Since our last meeting on the 8th, we had a workshop after the board meeting. Then on the 9th, I attended the Pack for Families. Had a little presentation there regarding bullying and how to address some of the problems that the young teenagers. This was put on by 2 high school students. Very informative conversation among adults to high school students. The 11th, we had the county recognition party, and thank you very much to the administration and the attorney's office for all the hard work you put in on it. It was a good evening, enjoyed by all. 14th, had a joint meeting with Sibley County Commissioners, talked about various things from roads to ditches to just about anything else that pertains to county government. So, and met one of their new county commissioners. Brings me up to date.
Okay, since our last meeting, we had a meeting with DNR staff, Highland Watershed, and landowners around Baker's Lake, and this will be a long series of meetings trying to figure out what is best for that watershed area. Of course, we have some large ditch systems that go into that lake, and there are some issues with lake elevation and overall drainage that we need to work on, but that'll be a long-term process there. Attended the recognition party, and then Rich had mentioned the joint meeting with Sibley County Commissioners. It's always nice to meet with some of our border counties. And Fairgrounds Commission the next day, we kind of talked a lot about buildings and kind of some long-range needs on those. Commissioner Kruger and I went out to visit with some landowners on JD 18, where we're clearing out some trees on a ditch system. Also had a MRF meeting and Hutchinson Joint Planning meeting last week.
All right, a meeting I want to bring up that unfortunately I wasn't able to attend because I think I had the same thing Cindy did for the recognition party and didn't feel very well. It was the Community Health Board, but I did get read into it and talked a little bit. They did not have a quorum, so the new officers were not elected, although there is another meeting coming up middle of February, and I think we can get that business taken care of there. But just wanted to remind everybody, we are in the process of hiring a new director for that. It is an interesting opportunity that the 3 counties have. I've been on the record and continue to stay on the record that I think we're better together than we are apart. But this is a way that we can talk about how we want that director's position to look as we move forward with that. So it's a unique opportunity. So please, I'll try to do my best to make sure everybody's informed with that. But if there's anything that we want to do different, or you have any ideas, please let us know. Presumably, Commissioner Szymanski will be on one of the officers for the next year. So also, not to volunteer him since he's not here, but let him know also. In addition to that, we had a department head meeting, and then a meeting that Commissioner Kruger and I attended with Cindy and Sheila with the architect for the new government center regarding space allocation throughout that building. The architect had met with, I think, all the departments at that point, right? And so had their feedback and their information. Then we were able to review that, and it was very detailed, much more detailed than I thought it would be when we went into it. But it was something that needed to be done, and I think we're on the right track, and everybody's on the same page of what that building will, at least in a concept, look like when we get done with it. And then finally, Trailblazer meeting that Commissioner Kruger got elected to the officers of, so I'm really happy about that. And I can let him go into that if he wants to yell at me for nominating him. But other than that, it was some rather short, to be honest with you, but some typical MnDOT business that we had to discuss. So other than that, I'm good. Doug?
It wouldn't do any good to argue with him when there's only two of us and we rotate. It's pretty, you're going to kind of get it one way or another. But anyhow, everything that I went through the last couple of weeks has pretty much been covered. The Bakers Lake stakeholders meeting, obviously, I go way back into the 60s with that, and it was interesting to see the same landowners, maybe once or two removed in their families, but they're same people around with same concerns. So the DNR well attended it, or I mean they were well represented at the meeting. So possibly we can get some ideas on what to do there. The joint meeting with Sibley McLeod commissioners on the 14th. The department head meetings, and also with Brian Peterson, the architect, for to reviewing the new building. We also had a MRF meeting on the 16th, I believe it was, just updating us on what's all going on at the recycling center and the different challenges we've got going on over there. Trailblazer was covered. I did get elected as recorder. And on the 18th, Friday morning, I attended Southwest Coalition on transportation. That's 212. I try to attend them regularly, basically updating for 2019. The phase one, which is from Menards, from Chaska to Cologne, that's pretty much on track to start on 2020. I don't see any reason why that won't happen. There's a bill in the legislature that they handed out, and I believe it's going in the legislature this year for $38 million. And I was just reading through it now. It's I'm not quite understanding how it's written, but there's 10 million and 38 million. It has to do with the intersection at Bongards, trying to fast forward phase 2 of 212, which is Cologne to Norwood Young America, but the Bongards intersection, they want to start, or they want to try and improve that intersection without spending the money twice, so it aligns with 212 when and if it proceeds. Other than that, I guess I also would like to thank the committees, the county attorney's department, and the people that all were involved at our recognition party. We had a good time. It was a little different thing, and I wasn't sure I would go, but we stayed till the end and had a good time. So it brings us up to today.
Cindy, anything?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have one item for you. This morning I received an email from Don Albright, who is a secretary for the Township Association. They will be hosting a meeting on January 28th at 7:30 at the courthouse. And I just, so you don't have this on your calendar yet, but there is potential to be a quorum at that meeting. So I needed to make that announcement to you this morning.
Very good. Anything else under the calendar piece of it?
No.
Okay. Continuing on our county administration, let's clean up these consent agenda items. I created some unintentional drama regarding that this morning, so I apologize for that. It was nothing more than, it just didn't feel right to me on the consent agenda. So item E, The TriStar Act team is looking, this is something I believe typically be under the personnel, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but it's, the TriStar Act team is looking to cover some shortages. They previously had an RN position approved, but now want to also recruit for an LPN, not in addition to, but in lieu of. So I just felt that that was something that we should, when we hire people, we're very open and upfront about that, and I didn't want that to blend into the consent agenda. So I will move to approve item E if there's a second.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for that. That makes me, for what it's worth, feel better. And then item I was setting the public hearing for 9:30 on the 19th of February for the purpose of hearing is to amend the current McLeod County All Hazardous Mitigation Plan. Again, it just felt something that typically is under administration when we set public hearings. So that's why I pulled that. I would move to approve that item if there's a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for flattering me and letting me do that, and I apologize for any drama that it created. So moving on to the True County Administration agenda under item A.
Okay, for the first item, this is a notification that we would have a county board workshop on February 5th following the county board meeting here at the Glencoe City Center in the West Conference Room. Item B is to adopt resolution C19 CB05. This would approve the 2019 Commissioner Committee list.
All right, this is something that we've worked on in workshops, and I think we all settled in, especially after the election of the chair and vice chair last week, or 2 weeks ago. So, is there any questions about this?
Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Motion by Commissioner Wright,
Second.
second by Commissioner Kruger. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
And again, you said it all there. Commissioner Szymanski is missing today, but we've had the discussions on the commissioner assignments, and everything was not contested. It was pretty much settled, so I just for the public that's listening, it was all agreed upon. So.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, item C, consider approval to pay $158,790 to the McLeod Sibley Trailblazer Joint Health Insurance Pool to cover the shortfall in the pool. The authorization is a permanent transfer, with a contribution from Sibley County being $103,980 and Trailblazer $37,230. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't, but I guess for the general public, if you will, it is based on claims that have occurred.
Yes,
And
Mr.
this-
Chair, that is correct.
And this would be a payment, we're in the partnership with the joint powers with these folks, and this would be our share of the joint powers, which is roughly 50%, correct?
It is almost 53%.
And so this is our share to that to make sure that the insurance plan continues
Right.
Mr. Chair,
financially. Right?
I'll move to approve so our conversation goes on record.
Motion by Commissioner Kruger. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Wright. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know there's going to be some talk on this one to a point, but insurance right now is not good. I mean, we're self-insured, and the whole industry is kind of, lack of a better word, upside down. But the costs of our claims are high. We've got a good committee working on it, but when you're self-insured, when your reserves become low, you have to put it back in. And the reason I'm commenting is I don't want the public to think we take this lightly. We're having quite a few conversations with insurance carriers and ourselves to know which direction the whole self-insured part of Sibley, McLeod, and Trailblazer, the direction it goes. So, I mean, it's a necessary evil at this time.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the last item, we had some confusion when we set the commissioners' calendar for 2019 with the Board of Appeal and Equalization. Originally, that was set for June 10th, but that is a date prior to when Sue can actually hold the meeting. So we have rescheduled that date to be June 18th. June 17th at 6 o'clock. So what we'll do is we'll hold a meeting prior to June 17th at 4:30 with the board and have the Board of Appeal and Equalization at 6 o'clock that evening.
So now you lost me. So we're looking for the 17th.
We're looking for
to
the
reschedule it the 17th at 4:30 for the board meeting and 6 PM on the 17th for
For
the
Board of Appeal and Equalization, yes.
I got it. I'm going to
All
approve that,
right.
or move to approve that before we lose it. So, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kruger. Any discussion? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else, Cindy?
No, I have nothing more, Mr.
All right.
Chair.
We will be, I will be asking for a motion to go into a closed meeting regarding Cindy Ford's performance evaluation. But prior to that, I would like to invite any open forum. Anyone wish to address the board? Or press relations, anything?
So you talked about, Commissioner Kruger, you talked about you guys are shopping around for, now that a couple of meetings for health.
I did not say shop around. I did say we've been having meetings with our insurance carriers.
You said, right, you said you were, I thought you said with different insurance carriers.
No, just looking at different ideas on how to, we're self-assured right now, and obviously I'm one member of the board, and we have Trailblazer that we took under our, I don't know, lack of a better word, our wing, and we joined in a joint powers agreement, have them under our insurance, and you've attended the Trailblazer meetings and the conversation there also. The same thing with Wright County with the cost of our insurance and the cost to Trailblazer and the different counties. We're looking at every avenue that we can take to provide good care and at a price that we can afford.
And what is that yielded? I mean,
That, I don't guess this is really the right time. I mean,
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Cindy.
Jacob should come up to the podium if he wants to speak, otherwise nobody can see him or hear him.
It's all right.
So what is that, what have those talks to you? Because I feel like I was at the Trailblazer meeting, and then I was at the meeting at Hinge before that, and then I was at the health insurance meeting after that as well. And it didn't sound like there was a lot of, didn't sound like there's a lot of options. The Sibley County Commissioner, Roxy Traxler, is that her name? She said something along the lines of, if you choose to shop around, or I don't want to say shop around, if you choose to look around at different options, that's fine, but that other health insurances will cost, I mean, after the first year of maybe you get a deal, maybe you don't. After that, it's going to be pretty much the same cost.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she was talking about whether it was a fully insured plan or a self-insured plan, I'm guessing. Was that part of what she was discussing?
That was part of it. But she said the bigger issue to discuss right away was whether the joint powers wasn't going to be a pool anymore of insurance, whether each was going to try to shop in. I don't want to say shop, but whether each was going to try to look at it individually, and she said, but the problem with that is that it's probably not going to be cheaper after maybe a year.
I think we're going to look at
Okay,
everything.
what we ought to do is we ought to address what these points of view are here. We should not comment about what any other commissioner from another county might have thought or said or anything like that. We ought to stick in our own yard.
I would agree. I mean, basis for my comment was that we're looking at different options. Yeah, obviously, insurance costs are all gonna go high. To go on your own is gonna be higher, but the point of my comment was that we're adding money in, and obviously, the taxpayer or our constituents are gonna wonder why. And obviously, I mean, our costs are going up, and there's a whole gamut of stuff there. I mean, we have people that are on, that have open claims, they have to be resolved. There's just so much more moving parts. My point of my comment was that we're not just signing checks and throwing them in there. We have a lot of things to address, and we are addressing them with the best people that we have available to us.
Cool. All right. I was gonna ask also why Wright County is doing so well, but I think you would advise against that probably.
I don't know
Or
if the
why
right
Wright
word
County
is
is-
so well. They have some rates in there. It's a bigger county. They have a lot more employees, Mr. Young.
There are a lot of moving parts, and he's free to talk with Wright County about what they're doing or how they're doing it. But we shouldn't comment about any other unit of government.
He's commenting because Wright County had made the comment at our Trailblazer meeting that he attended. I mean, that's another part of the avenues that we're looking at. I don't know how else to put it.
And then he's free to contact the Wright County people and find out why or if or whatever.
Anything else, Jacob?
Nope. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. We'll take a motion to go into a closed meeting for County Administrator Cindy Ford's performance evaluation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Polmeyer. Any discussion?
Just one thing, Mr. Chair. I think it would be fair to say that we're not anticipating any action being taken after the meeting, that we would go straight to adjournment, and that a summary of the evaluation process will be presented at the next county board meeting, which I believe is February 5th.
It is, yes. Correct. So with that, I would agree with that. Any other board members have a problem with that? All right, so any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.